on to organic growth. So when you are looking to grow, what you'll find with time is this. When you take on something that is new, so any new task is stressful at first, so it'll be stressful, right? But it decreases in difficulty over time as you get used to it. So what will happen is it'll go from stressful to becoming challenging. And then when you keep doing the challenging thing, it'll become natural. When you keep doing it, it'll become easy. And when you keep doing the easy thing, it'll become boring. So what you have to do is the key is to keep expanding your comfort zone. Now I mentioned and I explained comfort zone in the last module when we talked about my encounter with Simon Woodruff. But the key is to constantly expand your comfort zone, but at the rate of organic growth. What do I mean by that? So the key thing is this. By the time something becomes natural and easy, do not necessarily let it get boring. Pick up another challenge. But here's the thing, by the end of your endurance, your comfort zone expands. So after you've endured, your comfort zone expands, you are able to overcome larger challenges. So as your comfort zone expands, as you have taken the bigger challenge, and as you stayed outside your comfort zone will expand and you can take on a bigger challenge. But then the thing is, although you are becoming bigger and better and stronger, the key is to monotask and not exceed your capacity. The key is because otherwise you'll basically burn out. If you take on too much, if you take on too many challenges and you expand your comfort zone, what will happen is you will burn out. And this is what would often happen to me, and this is how I got into high performance and everything, learning life coaching, because prior to my health thing that happened, I would often burn out. And partly the contribution to my health, the declining, was me burning out. So to overcome burnout is I had to study all this high performance to make sure that I was at peak performance and I was contributing and I was adding as much value as I could. So again, going back to this, organic growth means that you're doing it at a natural rate. So it goes from stressful, challenging to natural and maybe easy, but as long as it does not get boring. And the other thing organic means is that it is not done at a rate where basically it's a boom and a bust. So it's basically not a case of undisciplined pursuit for more, where you're basically just putting more and more on your plate and you're spreading yourself thin. So fitness is the capacity to do work, and capacity you will learn through experience by pushing yourself. That's how you learn about your capacity. And most high performers have burnt out at some point or another in their life. You know, whichever book you read, or whether you read, which a book that I'll mention, 4 Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. He talks about burnout. Whether it's Never Work Again by Erlen Bakker, he talks about burnout. Most of the people that I've spoken to, when it comes to the life coaching arena and high performance, they've all experienced burnout. So it is an issue. But growth, what's the formula for growth? How can you keep going is something I want to discuss now. So the key thing is to take up a problem, provide a solution, and then reward yourself. Take up a bigger problem, come up with a bigger solution, and come up with a bigger reward. Take up an even bigger problem or problems, come up with even bigger solutions, and come up with even bigger reward or rewards. So the problem is, what will happen is problem will be a struggle, solution will be a success, and the reward you need to celebrate. Now in this formula, if you get rid of reward and you just keep jumping from struggle to success to struggle to success, and you do not include a reward to celebrate, you will not grow. Most people do not grow. And this is what I've realized actually myself, because I'll add here, so I was in a conflict and I've been really cogitating over the concept of happiness. So when I came to Pakistan, the 7 or 8, 9, 10 months, the first 3 quarters of the year were a struggle. There were highs, but then there were lows, and there was like, what am I doing here? What will be my breakthrough, etc. Then I came across this group that it's called like it's called the Art of Living, and they focus on happiness. At the same time, I was doing things linked to Mind Valley and vision. We talked about basically vision for the future and happiness, and I was very confused because my personality, like I mentioned, is more aligned to Steve Jobs. So I've always been a go-getter and not really focused on happiness. And I've taken Steve Jobs' saying that if you want to make people happy, sell ice cream, do not become a leader. So I've taken that in the literal sense. And what I've realized is, especially with time now, is that happiness is actually very important. Even with this, even though I would teach this, for me, celebration, it's about common sense isn't always common practice. And so although this was commonly something I would also teach, it's not something I would commonly practice. I might practice it now and then, but I wouldn't commonly practice this. But I cannot stress the importance of happiness. Why? Why is that? Because the more I'm meeting so quote unquote successful people, what I'm realizing is that unless you've been happy, happiness is a state. Unless you've been happy throughout your journey, when you get to that point, whichever the point that you want to reach, what you'll realize is that even then you will not be happy. And it's an endless pursuit. It's actually something I mentioned in module 1. It's the logarithm IFTTT, if then that. You're stuck in that logarithm, that if then that you'll get happy. And the reality is you will not get happy. So happiness is a state which you must learn. You must learn to do things that make you happy, because only then are you in this state of flow. And only when you're in the state of flow will you grow.